Hi all, good morning, good afternoon. So today we are going to discuss on what is SAP System Landscape and all the related details with regard to the SAP System Landscape in detail. We are going to see. Okay, so this is our topic for the day, and let's move further to the next slide. As you can see, the SAP System Landscape development, quality and production, dev, duty and PRD. That's how usually it is called as, but there are many ways by which it can be called as. Some of the terms left and right can change a bit depending on how the nomenclature is being followed in the client. Okay, let's get back to the topic. So in the SAP system landscape is what we have seen, right? Today we are going to see this topic into detailing, and we will see what all things it has, and we will also talk something from the interview perspective as well in this given video. Let's move further. So below are the contents for this given video which we are going to talk in detail. SAP system landscape, what all the terminologies are there used in the SAP system landscape. We have development system, we have quality system, we have production system, we have other systems as well. Then we will also see the complete IT landscape of the company. We will have some MS Paint related session as well, which is not mentioned here, but we will see. And then my personal view on SAP and non-SAP system landscape of a client or a company. And then finally we will end up with the conclusion. So before I move further on this topic, I would like to request you all, please like this video, subscribe this channel, share this video among your network, your peers, your friends, your circle, right? And if at all you have anything which you want to put a comment, so you can drop a comment as well. Thank you. Let's move further. So as you can see in the SAP system landscape, something like this it will look like. As you can see in the pictures, development, quality and production, you have then configuration testing, a web test development, unit testing in the quality assurance client. It is sometimes also called as QAC or QAS kind of thing, where integration testing, cross-module implication analysis is being carried out, and production client is anywhere a production system which holds the real-time business data in the system, right? In the development system, we also have something called as sandbox kind of thing, and in quality we can have an extra setting, extra client called as training client, right? So that kind of things you can have. Let's move further. As you can see in this particular picture, this is with regard to, I will say, from the overall SAP S4 HANA perspective, I would say, because we are talking here all about the private cloud and public cloud as well. We can have hybrid as well, but in general, this is all about the SAP system landscape. You can have SAP solution manager, you can have management framework where you have partner network kind of thing, then you have application connect, open APIs, that is application programming interface, then virtualization connect, operating system connect, storage connect, cloud connect, and custom exit programs as well, right? In the IT infrastructure, you have network, you have physical resources, you have virtualization, you have storage. And the three variety of cloud what you have usually is public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud as well. Then you have in the application connect what you have is SAP solutions, virtual appliance, and even you can have third party that is nothing but non-SAP systems. All these things are all connected with one another by way of SAP landscape management. Let's move further. First, let us understand the various kind of terminologies used in the SAP system landscape, right? So, what are things which are used basically over it? Let's see. You have a client. Client is nothing but a three-digit nomenclature given by the SAP system to identify a particular system, particular client rather I will say, which has a complete set of tables, master data and transaction data. It is always denoted by three digits, usually 000 and 001. These two clients SAP gives you whenever they install SAP at your premise or in cloud for the first time for a particular company, right? Now, SAP system track. What does that mean by SAP system track? As we have seen in our previous slides, we had development, quality, and production, right? So, from development to quality, quality to production. This kind of setup is called as SAP system track. Some places it is also called as configuration pipeline, right? Now, I can talk about configuration pipeline for AMS. AMS, as you know, AMS is also called as support project in the SAP world, basically, right? So, sometimes suppose a client has implementation work also going on, the rollout work also going on, and at the same time, regular AMS maintenance work also is going on. So, in such scenarios, you can have sometimes a separate pipeline, or rather I will say the configuration pipeline for AMS work. Similar way, there can be a separate this configuration pipeline for rollout programs for the client as well. Quite possible. Coming to the deployment perspective. So deployment is basically setting up your system and its all other things. That means you are basically installing SAP system on some server, right? So where do you install your SAP? It can be on-premise or it can be cloud. In cloud, you can have public cloud, private cloud, or hybrid, or whatever way you have decided and discussed with the SAP in particular, right? So basically, making system ready for run is what is called as the deployment of the system. Then there is also called as TR movement process. TR is nothing but the transport request which you create by way of configuration or customization. Again, transport request is of two types: customization request and workbench request. Customization request is for the functional people, workbench request is for the technical people, right? So how these changes will move from one system to another system also, a specific process is usually defined by the client how they are going to do it. And remember, client to client, this process also differs a lot. I have seen from my personal experience, I can talk about these processes differs a lot. Moving to the next thing, type word is server. Server is a kind of, you can have development server, you can have quality server, you can have production server. Remember, one server can contain single client or multiple clients. It depends. There is no hard and fast rule that how many clients a server can hold depending on size and the resources what it has. It can have single, it can have multiple as well. But remember, in the production server, usually there will be only one client. Usually. But in your development and quality, you will usually have multiple clients within the same server. Then there is another terminology also called as system refresh. What do you mean by system refresh? So system refresh basically refers to pushing up your production system data into the lower environment, nothing but quality, and sometimes even in the development system as well. Usually development system people do not touch, but I have seen in some clients they make update in the development system as well, directly copying from the production system to the development system. so that the entire system, or rather I will say the configuration pipeline, will remain in the sync. Okay, I hope till here everything is clear. And this system refresh thing also, the frequency at which this system refresh will take place also is decided by the client, whether it will be monthly basis, quarterly basis, half yearly basis, annual basis. How they want to do it up, it's up to them, and depending on their requirement, depending on their usage, and also depending on the kind of infrastructure they have, right? Remember, each client is having a different class kind of infrastructure where they maintain the data, because the system sizing depends on how much they can spend on the system resources and how much flexibility the system will have to run it in the given resources. Let's move to the next slide. We also have something called as client status, open and closed. Open means lot of things you will see in the edit mode. Closed means some of the activities you will not see it in the edit mode. It will not let you do that. Usually what happens is the golden client or the configuration client will remain open, but the unit test client or quality client and even production client usually remains closed only. They are not kept it open. Only if needed, you can request to the base system, they will open the client for some time. You complete your activity, whatever you are supposed to do it in those systems, and they will close back again, right? Then, nature of the system, permanent versus temporary. Remember, during the implementation work, lot of clients are created, but then all clients are not needed once the entire implementation work is complete. So some of the systems will remain even after implementation work is done, because that is needed to carry out your day-to-day AMS work, enhancements, upgrades, and lot of other stuff, right? But some of them are optional in nature. If you want to keep it, you can still keep it. If you don't want to keep it, you can remove it. It will free up some of the resources of your server. Then system size. System size, usually what I mean by that is how much bandwidth a particular server and client will have. Usually the golden client or system, the development client will have lesser space, lesser things. Quality will have little bit more than that the server, and the production server is usually having the bigger space and the biggest in the size as well. Then from the system connection perspective, I will say the development system mostly remains on standalone basis only. Only few things sometimes are added up, otherwise usually it is standalone system development I am talking about. But the moment it goes to the quality, then in quality most of the interfaces are usually remain connected in the system. They may keep the connections open or closed depending on the requirement, but connections are always established in the system. It will remain available. Whenever you want to activate it, you can activate it for a lot of SAP systems and non-SAP systems as well, for the testing and UAT and all of the purposes, right? So this is, and production by default will have a lot of all connections. Obviously, production will have. There is no doubt about that part. And then we will also talk about the base system. So base system, what they do basically is they will maintain your system. They will ensure that your system is up and running. They will monitor all your jobs. They will monitor your TR movement from one system to another, and they will also ensure that system does not have any performance issue and all other things, right? Because system is a running uh, is running lot of applications, right? So everything should run smoothly. System should be up and running. Performance should be optimal, right? So all these things will be maintained by the base system for the SAP system. Let's move further. Now we were talking about the development system, right? Three systems we have talked about. So It is also called as SAP configuration system or the customization system, as the case may be. It is the another name of this system also is called as the golden client. Okay, in the golden client, usually you do the only configuration part and some master data. Transaction data is usually not created in the your golden client in which you do the configuration. Okay, for that there is another system which is also called as the unit test system or UT system kind of thing within the same server most of the time, right? So what you do is take example your 100 is your golden client, okay, and then 200 is your unit test client. So you do the configuration in 100 client and then move it to the 200 client and do your unit testing and other all other stuff. Your and this is denoted usually by the DEV dev system. Numbers, as I said, you can have as per your situation and whatever nomenclature you want to follow, that is always client to client it differs. Basically, I will say company to company it differs. The golden client will remain always open, right? But unit test client will remain usually closed. So golden client is a system where you will always create your transport request, right? Then from the interface perspective, if you say, it will be mostly very rarely I have seen that interfaces are connected to the development system as well. And even if it is connected, all interfaces will not be connected to the dev system. Only one or two may be available sometimes, sometimes that also is not there. The size wise, this is the smallest server you will have, and the smallest, very less resources are also allocated to this particular server. And with regard to the system interface, you remember all of parameters we have discussed earlier, the terminologies, right? We are talking from that perspective. The system refresh usually is low. Only one or two clients I have seen who were even refreshing the development system also. But most of the clients don't touch the production system, sorry, development system for the system refresh activity basically. Let's move further. Now we will talk about the quality system. This is also called as the SAP testing system. You can also call it the SAP integration testing and UAT and all other kind of all variety of testings you can think about. All these kind of testings are done extensively in this quality system. Okay, it is also called as QAS or QA or sometimes QT, depends. Client status will usually remain closed. Most of the interfaces which is available into the production, they will also be connected in the quality system as well. The size wise, the size will be bigger than your development system but lower than the production system. That's how the system size would be. TR creation is not usually done in this system. This system is meant only for the testing purpose most of the time. Then system integration testing also is being carried out in this system. Cross module testing also is being carried out in the system. End-to-end scenario is being run in this system. All these activities are done and system interface is usually done in this system uh, so that all the production data and if there are some issues which is available in the production system only by system interface activity, that also gets copied in the quality system, right? So that is the overall usage of the quality system. Now let's move further about the production system. So in the production system, this will be the size wise the biggest system. It is called as PRD system or PROD system, right? Client status will usually remain closed and this can be opened based on the putting a request to the base system. They will do the needful. If at all you need to uh, perform certain manual activities, in those cases you have to make sure that client is open and that request you can do to the base system. They will do the needful based on the business requirement and business approval. All interfaces will be properly connected up and running because this is a system which holds the maximum number of maximum size and maximum data as well, right? TR creation is strictly not allowed, right? SIT testing you don't do over here because these are all real systems. So testing data is not created here. Whatever data you create, that remains that is considered as a real-time business data, right? And system refresh never happens in the production system, right? Another thing which I will always say is production system also is called as the slave system. Why you say it is a slave system is because it takes all the configuration what is being sent from the development to the quality and then quality to the production system, right? Data type what it has is mostly the real time, not mostly, it has only real time business data only. And remember, deleting a data from the production system is, once you create it, you can only archive it, you cannot delete it fully. Okay, so all these things is available in the production system. Let's move further. Now we will see some other systems also which people usually use in their other systems. Like sometimes they also use a sandbox system which will be usually a standalone system. It will have connection but it will work as a standalone system. You can create a TR in the sandbox system as well. If you have to test something new functionality or you are working on something called as POC kind of proof of concept kind of thing. So in those cases you can test something in the production sandbox system first and see whether results are matching as per the expectation from the client or not, and if at all it is working fine, the same configuration then you redo once again in the development system and then take it as per the process forward. In the quality system, usually they also create another system which is called as the user training system, and that is used to train the new users whoever joins in the client side to work onto a particular area of work, right? So they also need some training, some hands-on training. So directly they cannot be trained in the production system directly, right? Because that has the real-time data. So for the training purpose, usually some people, some clients keep the user training system as well. There can be some pre-prod production also system also. Sometimes some clients use one system between quality and the production system, also called as a pre-prod system. This pre-prod system also is like a almost like a copy of the production server only. Okay, and more or less it has also all the real-time data, right? This is to ensure that before everything moves to the actual production system, they just ensure that whether it is working fine, everything is running smoothly, or whether it is creating any problem or something like that. So sometimes they keep like that also. And then we also have one server called as solution manager, which can work like for various functions. It can be used for the training and testing purpose. It can be used as a ticketing tool. It can also be used as a document various kind, because in SAP implementation and even in the support, lots of documentations are created like FSD, TSD, and many more, BRD, and your business blueprint document, fit gap analysis document, and lot of other stuff, right? So all these documents also you can store in the solution manager, right? So this particular system plays very important role with it, and from this system you can set up the connectivity between the various systems as well. So this is a very useful system. Some people use it, some people do it this manually as well. So that depends on how client wants to do it up. So these are the some other systems which may or may not be available in the given SAP system landscape. Now let's move further. Now we will see on the MS Paint document, right? We will go there and we'll see how that works. All right. So now we are on the MS Paint, right? So we'll see how the overall scenario works for us, right? Okay. So what we will do is we will first see how the usually the setups are done. Take example, this may be my development box, right? This may be my quality box, right? And this may be my production box, right? Then there can be many non-SAP systems also connected to one or the other, right? So I'm just creating something and we'll see how the connections among various systems here and there and there and there are all made, right? Okay. So take example for this one. This is the suppose a dev system, right? Correct. Then this will be our quality system, right? QAS, and this will be our PRD system, right? Let me just increase the right. So it is a PRD system, right? So how the data will flow basically is, now we'll go to the home, we'll select the line, right? So this will go to here to there, right? Sorry, I think I have chosen the wrong option. Let me just remove it and select the right option. This should be the right one, right? So this is how the movement will happen, right? So this all sorry, okay, I think this place I should remove it, and okay, now I will use this arrow down. Suppose some connect system is connected like this, so it can be like this as well, right? These are all will be your like non-SAP systems, correct? So that's why I'm just putting a connection to showcase how the various systems will get connected to each other, right? Take example, suppose this one is for the, you can say the bank, right, for example, right? This one can be for the, suppose this is for the, maybe the uh, OMS, order management system, OMS system, right? Same way, even in the production also, you will have, suppose here the bank, right? This one can be for your OMS. There can be some other third party also. You take this one as non-SAP, right? So TR is created into, okay, uh, let me use this, okay. So TRD is created into this system, then transported to the quality, and then finally it comes to the production system by way, the way you can see this arrow movement, right? So that is how it will move, and these are all the connections will be available, right? The connection between all these systems will be done by the base system. So I have just tried to create one very smaller simple one diagram to showcase you how just usually it looks like. But in the real time, a proper flow chart, proper diagram is being created, and that's how the all the systems are also getting integrated with each other, and then they talk to each other. Remember one thing, there are two type of data transfer which can happen between systems, inbound and outbound, and in some places it can be inbound and outbound together. In some cases it is only inbound, and in some cases it is only outbound. So that depends on what the application is, what it is meant for, and whether it needs to send the data or it needs to receive the data. Accordingly, inbound, outbound, and both is being configured and created. So this is all about the SAP system landscape. Let's move back to our slide again, right? Okay, let's move further. So something like this, you can see this is for the SAP S4 HANA kind of thing. As you can see, universal general entry, the database kind of thing, it is showing it you up over there, right? You have also some non-SAP third-party system legacy data or something like that. You also have SAP system read engine, application table, logis table, DB triggers. DB is nothing but the database, right? Then you have SLT also, the system SAP landscape transformation, which is also called as the SLT system, right? So those things are there. Then you also have SAP master data governance, MDG team, right? You have central finance business mapping, error handling if at all you have any, then internal accounting interface, inbound staging table, database trigger, and likewise. So don't think that this is all everything put together, but this is how the things are there. This is how it will usually look like. Sometimes much more complex than this also. This is in general, it is being just explained in a in a in a simple language, I will say. Okay, let's move further. Now coming to the my personal view on SAP and the non SAP system landscape, right? This entire setup is being done based on the business requirement. When the SAP implementation happens for a particular client, at that point of time, by keeping all the parties involved and they discuss by sitting together that how the SAP landscape will look like and how the system will get connected with each other and how the data will flow between the systems. Then they will also talk about the deployment options we have already discussed earlier, like it will be either on-premise or cloud, and if it is cloud, then they have to decide whether it will be public cloud, private cloud, or hybrid, or whatever way they have chosen. Accordingly, they can choose on, and then even SAP also has different kind of offerings, something like SAP Rise with SAP, and that gives you basically the bundled services at one go. Otherwise, for various different components, you will have to pay the licenses fee to SAP separately, right? So many a times from the interview perspective, people ask these kind of questions. Do you know what is SAP system landscape? What it actually mean by that? And lot of related terms. Sometimes they just ask to understand whether the person is having some real experience or person just have some uh, fake experience, fake work experience as such, right? So sometimes people ask these kind of questions in the interview, so one should be fully aware of how this entire scenario works. Basically, this system landscape is kind of foundation stone of the IT landscape managed by a company or an organization, right? So that particular part you must keep in mind all the time, right? So that's it, my personal opinion on this SAP system landscape. This is a kind of summary for you to understand what all systems a system landscape can have, what is the nature of it, and what is the creation and refresh strategy being usually maintained, right? This I have collected from the internet. This I have not prepared from my side. So the entire credit is for the people who has created it. I am just using it on my slide for your better understanding, because this particular I felt it's a very good piece of information. We have sandbox, we have development, we have quality assurance or acceptance, regression testing, dress rehearsal, trial cutover, performance testing, firefighting, and production. So out of these, only development, quality assurance and production, these three are only the permanent systems. You must have it whether you like or you don't like, does not matter. But your sandbox is temporary, your dress rehearsal and trial cutover is again temporary, performance testing and firefighting also is temporary systems. Firefighting is optional system. Optional means if you want to keep it, if you want to have it, you can have it. If you don't want to have it, you can just leave it, right? But your performance testing and dress rehearsal and your sandbox system, these are all temporary in nature, usually used at the time of implementation of SAP system, and once the implementation is over, they are removed by the client. But sandbox, most of the clients usually keep even during the AMS phase. Now, what is the creation and release refresh strategy? I am just reading it out, but you can see it and understand. Based on the copy of development when needed, right? The sandbox one. Development and quality system is created right in the beginning, and development system, as I said, I have seen some people refreshing, but mostly it is never refreshed, right? And quality system is created as a copy of development system during the initial landscape build time, refreshed on a regular basis, quarterly, annually, sometimes monthly as well, right? Sometimes on ad hoc basis as well, if it is something needed on urgent basis kind of thing, right? And then your all these things, I will not read everything correctly fully. You can read it from your end to understand. And permanent system is like created a copy of a test system with no data during the initial landscape build. And remember, production is never refreshed. Why? Because all the systems are refreshed from the production system. That's why, since it is a source system for the refresh, that's why production system is never refreshed. Right? Development can get refreshed sometimes, though they have written never refreshed, but then I have seen some clients are refreshing that as well. Okay, let's move further. Now we have come to the conclusion of this video. This system landscape is designed based on the business requirement, based on the company requirement, based on the all other third party systems, keeping all those things in mind. They basically design this process, right? The system refresh activity is a very important activity, right? And this system refresh starts happening only when the system goes live. Prior to that, system refresh never happens. And if it happens also, it happens only for the TR basis. The transports are moved from one system to another. But actual refresh happens once the production system goes live. The TR movement process will be always unique from client to client. Some people move it via basis team. Some people allow to move it all the way till quality, and then from quality to production is moved by the basis team. Sometimes production movement from the quality to production TR movement is also given to specific set of people. They can also do the needful, right? So in every client, this process you should ask when you join a project. You should ask this query, sir, please let us know what is the TR movement process being followed into this particular client and into this particular project. Because project to project, it will be always different, and you should be knowing it very well so that you don't commit any unnecessary mistake into it. Then regular system maintenance. Why I said regular system maintenance means sometimes some patches needs to be updated. So at that time the system downtime will come into the picture, right? And that will also happen whenever you are upgrading your system from one version to the another version. Suppose you are on 1503 version of S4 HANA, and now you want to upgrade it to the 2020 or 2022 version of S4 HANA system. So all those cases, lot of system maintenance activity and other things will happen in the place, right? and this will be carried out by mostly the basis team and the security team. Security team usually mean for the user access data and authorization data kind of thing. Majorly it is the responsibility of the basis team to ensure that system is up and running and having optimal performance. Right, now we have come to end of this particular video. If you have any query, if you have any doubt, if you have any confusion which you want to clarify, you can drop an email to this particular email ID. It will be replied for sure. It may take little time before you receive a reply, but you will definitely get some reply. Okay, now coming to the last slide of this particular video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Kindly like and subscribe this YouTube channel. Share this video among your friends, circle, group, wherever you are part of it, and you can put your comments. You can subscribe my YouTube channel, like this video, and I'm sure it is going to add some value in your knowledge base, and that's what this video is meant for. I hope the topics are all clear to you. Still, if at all you have some doubt, feel free to drop an email or put up comment on the video side. Definitely I will try to reply you on that. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for watching it. Good day. Bye bye.